The rain came in long silver threads, hammering the cracked pavement of Belmont Street, washing neon glow into rivers between the cobblestones. Daniel Mercer pulled his collar higher and quickened his pace, exhaustion sitting heavy in his shoulders after another double shift at the auto shop. He wanted nothing more than dry socks and silence. That was when he saw the light. It came from the alley beside the shuttered bakery, a small, trembling glow, gold and soft, pulsing like a heartbeat. Daniel told himself it was a dropped phone, a street lamp reflection, anything ordinary. But his feet carried him toward it anyway. What he found stopped him cold. A child stood barefoot in the rain, no older than 7 by the look of her, though something about her eyes made that guess feel wrong. Her hair was the color of moonlight, falling in damp strands over pointed ears. Her skin held a faint shimmer beneath the streetlight, and cradled in her small hands was the source of the glow, a sphere of golden light that pulsed in time with her breathing. She was shivering, lost, and entirely alone. Daniel's first instinct was disbelief. His second was concern. Whatever she was a child standing alone in a storm at midnight. He crouched down slowly, the way you'd approach a frightened animal, and opened his umbrella over her small frame. "Hey," he said gently. "You're safe. Where are your parents?" The girl looked up at him, eyes wide and impossibly blue, and spoke in a voice too steady for someone so young. "Please don't be afraid. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to go home." Daniel's breath caught. Her voice didn't waver, didn't carry the panic he expected from a lost child. It carried certainty, like she had rehearsed this moment her whole life. The orb in her hands brightened for a heartbeat, casting gold across the wet street, and somewhere deep in Daniel's chest, disbelief gave way to something closer to wonder. "What's your name?" he asked carefully. "Lumi," she said. "My ship. It broke apart over your city 3 nights ago. Have been hiding, waiting for someone who wouldn't run." Daniel glanced down both ends of the empty street. No sirens, no flashing lights, nothing to suggest the world already knew. Whatever had happened, it seemed Lumi had kept her secret well, or no one had believed the wreckage they might have seen. He could have walked away. He could have called the police, an emergency line, anyone better equipped to handle something this far beyond him. But the way she held that orb against her chest, like it was the only piece of home she had left, made the decision for him. "Come on," he said quietly. "Let's get you somewhere warm." They walked together beneath the umbrella, Lumi's small steps matching his, the orb's glow dimming to a soft ember as if it, too, understood the need for secrecy. Daniel's apartment was 3 blocks away. Small, cluttered, smelling faintly of motor oil and old coffee, but dry and warm. Inside, Lumi explored with quiet fascination. She touched the television like it might bite her, marveled at the refrigerator's hum, and laughed, a small, surprised sound, when the kettle began to whistle. For a moment, watching her, Daniel almost forgot what she was. "Almost. Tell me what happened," he said finally, sitting across from her at the kitchen table. "Your ship. Where were you going?" Lumi set the orb down gently between them. It flickered, and to Daniel's astonishment, images bloomed within it. Fields of violet grass beneath twin moons, towers of crystal rising from still water, a sky full of more stars than he had words for. "My world," she whispered. "Vizara. We were searching for a new home. Ours was dying. The ship was meant to find a signal, a safe place. But something attacked us in the dark between stars. I was the only one who made it to the escape pod." The images shifted, turning chaotic. Fire, screaming light, the void swallowing everything she loved. Daniel watched her face, expecting tears, but found only quiet grief, the kind that had already been carried too far to break someone fresh. "I'm sorry," he said, because there was nothing else to say. "They are still looking for me," Lumi continued. "The ones who attacked us. They tracked my pod signal here. I felt them get closer tonight. That is why I needed someone, anyone, willing to help me reach the old radio tower across the river. My people's rescue beacon. If I activate it before they find me, a ship will come. If I don't..." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Outside, far down the street, a low electrical hum rattled the window pane, distant but undeniably approaching. Daniel grabbed his jacket. "Then we'd better move." What followed was the longest night of Daniel's life, slipping through back alleys to avoid drifting searchlights that didn't behave like any police equipment he recognized, boosting Lumi over fences, hearts hammering every time a shadow crossed too close. Through it all, Lumi never let go of his hand, and Daniel realized he had stopped being afraid of her somewhere around the third alley. He was only afraid for her. They reached the old radio tower as the storm began to break, its rusted frame jutting into a sky finally clearing to show stars. Lumi climbed halfway up the structure, lifted the orb above her head, and whispered words in a language Daniel didn't understand. The orb answered, flaring brilliant gold, then white, a beam of light piercing straight up through the clouds like a flare fired into the heavens. For a long moment nothing happened. Then the sky above the river split open with light, not menacing but warm, descending slowly, a shape too smooth and quiet to be anything human-made settling gently over the water. Lumi turned back to Daniel, and for the first time her composure cracked just slightly. "Thank you," she said, "for not running. Will I see you again?" Daniel asked, surprised by how much he hoped the answer was yes. He smiled, small but real. "Maybe. The universe is larger than fear, Daniel. You taught me that tonight." She pressed the orb into his hands before stepping into the descending light, and as the ship lifted silently into the clearing sky, the glow remained behind, warm and steady against his palm, a piece of Vizara and of Lumi left with him.